Hi, welcome to the Coffee Chat Show here on Buzzing Pattaya, the show where we talk about things that are happening right here, right now, as well as general news, tips, information and advice. Now, I've been really looking forward to this chat with my friend here. Alfie, how you doing, my man?
Good, mate. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. The reason why Alfie's joined us today is two reasons. One, I want him to share about what he thinks about Pattaya right now. He's just come back from, how long has it been, 18 months?
Yeah, about that, 16, 18 months, something like that.
But more importantly, and what I know you guys are going to need to listen to, is you had a bit of an emotional journey getting out here, didn't you?
Did we just?
He's aged 10 years.
All the toys were thrown out the pram, Ray. Trust me on that one.
Well, I thought, wasn't like, I want to speak to my embassy and my consulate.
Yeah, I gave all the speech, don't worry.
I've known Alfie a long time. He's been here for a long time, and one thing about Alfie is when your toys go out, they go out, don't they?
Oh.
Anyway, now before we talk about that, where are you from originally?
Born London, raised in Jersey.
In Jersey, that's a posh man's island, isn't it?
Yeah, very wealthy.
Is that the island that, like, the French don't know if they want and we don't know if we want, so we kind of like shoved you in the middle?
Something like that.
Something like that. But it's a lovely island, isn't it? It's beautiful.
Oh, it is nice. The population 107,000, but just ripping deer.
Is it?
Yeah, you can't imagine the property prices there is unreal.
Wow. Yeah, I don't think I'll be moving there.
It's London prices.
Is it? Mm. Wow.
Not joking.
Now, you've been here many times.
Yeah.
You've lived here, you went back to sort some stuff out, now you're back again to live.
Yes.
I mean, obviously the hot topic right now is people out there are saying, oh, well, you know, it's dead, it's buried, it's ghost town, etc. I mean, honestly, you've been here now a week. What do you feel that the city's like right now?
Obviously, it's not as jumping as it was, but I'm surprised how busy it is, really, you know. Watching all the YouTubers back home, and now I've seen it for myself. I mean, it's rammed, really, some of these bars, and I was quite surprised. And we went out the other night, and did a lot of walking, by the way.
I didn't go, man.
And then, but yeah, I mean, I went out last night again, just have a little tour around, and I was surprised how many people there is about, you know. And then the nice thing about what I've seen is all the crap bars have now gone. All the horrible, dirty bars, they've all gone, they've been bought or they've been revamped by the owners, which is a good thing, I think, myself. So I think it's going to be good.
Well, I appreciate that. I mean, what you said there, it is different to what people naturally perceive because, you know, and as a YouTuber myself, you know, I walk around and sometimes the buildings are closed and stuff. And one of the dilemmas that we constantly get is, and we've spoke about this before, is if all the bars were shut and waited until all the tourists came out, the tourists aren't going to come out because all the bars are shut. So it is a chicken and egg situation.
It'd be a ghost town.
Yeah, sure, it is. But nevertheless, like you say, like you have had some good evenings out. I mean, we went out and you know, it was a good evening.
Yeah, it was good, you know, and yeah, I'm pleasantly surprised how good it is, because it's different between seeing it on the TV than actually being here.
Yeah.
And it's a nice, friendly atmosphere. Where before, you know, in the last few years I lived here, you could see everybody was on edge. But I think it's all calmed down now, and it was enjoyable, to be honest with you.
Well, I'm glad it's enjoyable, because it wasn't so enjoyable getting out here, was it? So let's talk about it from it. So you made the commitment, you said, right, that's it, I'm coming back out here to live again. You sorted out what you needed to do. So in terms of, I want to do it step by step, please. So guys that are watching, that are thinking of coming out, and remember, I'm saying about guys that come out, if you're coming out here for a long time, because right now, I wouldn't recommend it. You know, there's too many loopholes to jump through, which we're going to talk about now. So you made your decision. Talk me through the process, because there was a few hiccups along the way.
Yeah, I mean, it was easy to get. I got in December for the first Thailand pass. That was easy. So, and my date was to come out on the 30th of January. All smooth. Got to the airport, London, lovely. Had a 6.5 hour wait there. A couple of hours in, get a phone call from Qatar Airlines. We've moved your flight. I said, what, again? She said, done it before. So yeah, we have to go an hour early now because your connecting flight, we might not be able to get to it. So anyway, so the girl came and met me, and she gave me my new boarding passes. And then she looked at my paperwork, so I've got to check your paperwork, and there was the PCR test positive, which I knew it would be.
Well, that's because you were positive, weren't you? So you booked your flight originally,
yeah,
and you were not positive.
Yeah.
And then, you know, because before, back in Jersey, you worked in the call centre. This is the irony of his story.
The COVID call centre.
You worked in the COVID call centre with like 196 people queuing up at one time.
One time, yeah.
Yeah, to answer the phone, it's like, hello, this is Rosemary, your director of receptionist, how may I help you? I mean, so but when you booked the flight, you weren't positive.
No.
Then you got COVID yourself.
Yeah.
And you had to isolate for how long?
7 days. And I just made the 14-day window to get here. Because after you've recovered from COVID, you've got to wait 14 days before you can fly. And I just got in.
Okay. And then you had to get a certificate to fly, wasn't it?
A recovery letter, which I did.
How'd you get that?
Just after you recovered, you request it, and it came to me very quickly because
so do you have to? Well, yeah, I suppose you had a bit of an edge there. Didn't
yeah.
You? I mean, do you have to go and see a doctor to get the recovery letter?
No. You once you've recovered from COVID, you get the letter straight away.
Okay.
Yeah.
But here was the interesting thing that I want to talk to you about, because we were talking about your flight out here, and one of the things that you were really worried about was the fact that you could still show positive for up to 90 days having done your quarantine.
Correct.
And that positive test could affect the whole flight and could affect everything.
Yeah, but it was difficult to get information from the Thai websites and the embassies. But then there was announcements saying you could fly after 14 days with a recovery letter, no problems.
Okay.
So when they changed my flight, they sent everything off to Bangkok to double check, and I thought, oh, here we go again. so after an anxious 30 minutes, I got the call saying, yeah, you can get on the flights, no problem. Which I knew that would have been the case, but it's just knowing they want to change their minds again.
Yeah,
you know what this country's like.
So you flew Jersey to Heathrow, that was absolutely fine.
Yeah, and then Heathrow to Doha.
Right.
Doha was great. Got into Doha within 45 minutes. I was on the next plane.
So when you landed at Heathrow, did you leave the airport, or did you have to do a connecting flight? Do they keep you in a certain area, or were you allowed to roam the airport?
In Doha?
No, in Heathrow. So you flew Jersey to Heathrow with your fit to fly certificate.
You can't. You shouldn't go out the airport.
You shouldn't go.
You shouldn't go out the airport because you've left the transit.
Okay. So when you went to the check-in, you've landed, you've gone Jersey to Heathrow, you've gone up to the check-in and said, I'm transiting. Do they check all your paperwork again there?
No.
They didn't check anything?
No.
So there's no like, oh, hang on, you've got a certificate of...
yeah, but the girl had already checked it with me when she met me, don't forget. So that was all passed. Then I just went straight to the check-in. They knew who I was.
Right.
Straight in, on the plane.
And then you're in Doha?
And then I'm in Doha.
And then it went a bit wrong. Well, not
no,
nearly.
Doha was fine. Within 45 minutes, we were leaving Doha.
So where was it they did the phone call to check you could go?
From Jersey to Bangkok. From Heathrow to Bangkok.
Right. So when you got to Heathrow, they rang Bangkok up and said, "Listen, we got a guy here that we want to know. Can he come over because he's got a fit to fly?"
And they sent all the photos on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
So if it had been the olden days, that would have taken 6 weeks to get the paperwork.
Pigeons, they'd send the pigeons out. So you got to Doha.
Yeah.
How was Doha?
Didn't see it, mate. I just landed and virtually got on the plane.
Really?
But the funny thing about it, though, when you sit in the public seating, so you've got one seat, a block seat, one seat, a block seat. So for COVID distancing, but when you got on the plane, you could sit next to each other. So I couldn't see the point of that myself personally. But anyway, the flight was only a third full from Doha to Bangkok.
A third?
Yeah, it was empty.
Wow.
It was empty. So then the fun begins.
Go on then, over to you. How did it all pan out?
So landed in Bangkok. That was fine actually. Got in there, you get to, just before the ramp where you go to immigration.
Yeah.
So you sit in a load of chairs, you fill out a little form. They saw my paperwork, they knew I was coming anyway. Filled out the form, went straight to the doctor, stamp out. Straight into immigration. Have a nice day, sir. When I got my bags and went downstairs, waited 3 minutes for the taxi to come from the hotel in Pattaya to get me, to take me to my test and go.
And were they in hazmat suits and all that kind of stuff?
No.
No?
Not really, just the normal...
Just the normal stuff?
Yeah, plastic stuff, yeah.
So you're in a taxi, you're feeling pretty happy that you've managed to get out here and relatively unscathed.
Yeah.
And then you got to your hotel.
And we argued.
I think you call it getting your point across, didn't you?
And we argued.
Okay, they argued.
And I refused to take the PCR test. And then I demanded for somebody from the Thai embassy to come down and explain the new rules. Then they got hold of some top doctor to speak to me.
Yeah.
And he said, after an argument with him, why should I take it when I'm testing positive already, but I've got the recovery letter, it's going to test positive. He said, you either take the test or you're getting back on the plane.
Did he?
So at that point, I gave in.
But do you think that was being forced on you because of the fact that if you'd have shown positive, perhaps then you'd have had to stay and do your quarantine?
No, the problem was that I think I was their first person to have a recovery letter in the hotel, so
Right.
they didn't know how to do it.
Okay.
That was the problem. And the information is a bit lacking. Oh, because I'm on YouTube there, trying to show the girl, look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this, the officials say, she's going, I know. They kept calling me Mr. William for some, because
Mr. William?
My middle name's William, one of them.
Oh, all right,
they kept calling me Mr. William. Anyway, so, so went to the room, had a bit of a bad night's sleep, because the mattress was like sleeping on concrete. It was a nice hotel, don't get me wrong. 7 o'clock in the morning, the phone goes, and I thought, oh, here we go, another row. Hello, Mr. William. I said, no, it's Mr. Wells here. So
I'm not called William. Stop calling me.
I did. I just keep saying that. So she said, he said, oh, good news. You're negative. Seriously? Are you joking? No, you're negative. No problem. Come and have breakfast. So anyway, I went down to reception, packed everything up, and went down reception. Ah, there you go, Mr. William. Nice to see you. I said, it's Mr. Wells. And she gave me the letter, and it was positive. Now, the only thing I could think why I was a negative, because when I did the PCR in Jersey, it had to be retested.
Okay.
So it was inconclusive the first time round. I think it was borderline, because my COVID was very sly. It wasn't a bad one. So within the 24 hours of coming here, I think it subsided, the last little bit, and it was out of my system, or it wasn't enough to detect. So I was lucky, really.
I mean, obviously it was great that you got away with the fact that, you came back negative. What would have been the outcome if you'd have tested?
If it would have been a positive, there would have been a meeting with the doctor.
Okay.
And they can read from the test how strong it is, and if it's still a bad infection or just a minor minor one. So they that's how they would have done it. And he said to me on the phone, he says, look, we'll reassess it in the morning.
Okay.
But they didn't have to reassess it in the morning, because that was all right.
So, if I've got this wrong, help me out here. So what you're saying is there are different levels of how positive you are.
Yeah.
And
it's the strength they look at.
So, because people watching this, like myself included, I think, well, if I'm positive, I'm positive. If I'm negative, I'm negative. But you're saying to me you're positive, but if you're positive, there are still possibilities that they may allow you to carry on and get on.
Yeah, because you've got the recovery letter, that helps. It does help. But it is a pain, and especially, and I couldn't get any proper information from anybody. And that was the bad part about it. And it's just lack of knowledge from the people here, really. Then the government is not communicating with the hotels and explaining to them how it should be done if somebody comes in with a recovery letter.
Right. And that was pretty much the main problem. There was this recovery letter. They just didn't really understand what it meant.
Didn't know what it was in the beginning.
Wow.
They'd never seen one, for sure.
So let's paint the worst picture. Let's say you're saying
7 days.
Now, would you have been covered on your insurance and stuff for that, or is that out of your own pocket?
I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I didn't go down that route because I thought I was
Too busy
coming
running
in.
out the gate.
But what I did do, I checked with the hotel how much it would have been for a 7 and 10 day,
Right.
just in case. And it wasn't bad. For a 7 day, it was 19,000.
Okay.
And then for a 10 day, I think it was 23.
With a concrete bed that you
With
weren't
a
happy
concrete
with.
bed, no, I wasn't happy with. But anyway, so push comes to shove. And yeah, I did meet a bloke on the plane who's coming out for 28 days, and he was happy to do the 7 days because this was the only trip he could do this year. So there are people coming here doing the 7 day quarantine, and off they go. That's what they've been doing it for years. He said, he said, I normally come out 3 or 4 times a year, but I can only come this year once. So he said, I'm willing to do the 7 days.
Just whatever happens, I'm going to take it. Whatever happens, he was going to take it.
Yeah, he was booked in for 7 days because of his vaccines. I think he didn't have them all.
Oh, right,
so,
okay.
Yeah. So he was happy. And
in terms of like the whole process, like from beginning to end, and I'm asking you an honest question now. I mean, how stressful was it for you to get from Jersey to Heathrow, to the transit to Doha, over to Bangkok, through to the hotel, to do everything? I mean, did it really like get to you? Was it quite stressful, or did at the end of it you think, okay, that wasn't too bad? I mean, I suppose the real question is, would you do it all again? You know, how stressful was it?
Well, the stress only started when I got to the hotel.
Right.
That was it. Everything else was a breeze.
So
really.
You're not worried at all?
Not worried about it at all. But would I do it again? No.
Would you not?
If you're coming out here for a short time, wait. Wait. That's my advice. Take it or leave it. But if you're coming out here, like say for 3 or 4 months, then yeah, it's worth doing. You know, but if you're coming out for a short time, don't do it, guys. It just isn't worth it.
I think we should rephrase that.
What?
Coming out here for a short time. I think we need to change that to...
That's your mind. That's not my mind. I don't even know what that means. I've forgotten.
Listen, you may have gone through quarantine. You may have just gone, hey, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, we'll get off that subject. So, you know, during the whole process, because like for me, I mean, obviously I've not done this because I don't leave the country, but I would personally, especially having this certificate saying I am positive, I would have been worried that certain people on certain check-ins and certain stuff may have not understood it and caused you a load of grief. I mean, but you're saying that just didn't happen.
No, there was a lot of things I would have thought I'd have been asked about in transit, but I wasn't.
Wow.
Nothing, really. It was only the girl, when she came to give me my new boarding pass, so she said, oh, can I check your paperwork? And that was when it started going, well, not tits up, but you know, she wanted to double check that it was okay. She didn't want me to get to Doha and then, no, you can't go any further, which would have been a real pain in the arse. So, but she did her job, and that was fine. Bangkok said, yeah, of course he can fly.
Wow.
So that was it. But the stress started with the hotel, purely because they didn't know what they were doing.
Right. And just a question, I don't know if you know the answer to this, but like when you got to Doha, had they have said to you, actually, sorry, you can't fly, because you've already committed yourself, you know, Jersey to Heathrow, Heathrow to Doha, and now you're saying, well, I need to continue my journey. I know Heathrow had already called ahead, but didn't Doha have to verify that call?
No. It was verified from Bangkok to Heathrow.
All right, so there's no way they could have turned you around and say go back.
I did phone up the airline about it, and they said there's no problem about coming with a recovery letter.
So if you'd have stood your ground in the doctor's time of meeting each other, and he said you're off.
I would have stood my ground at Doha and all.
But that would have been at your expense, wouldn't it, with the flight? You'd have had to pay for that, surely.
Well, I think one of my insurances would have covered that.
Would that cover that?
Yeah, I'm not sure. It might have done.
Brilliant.
I didn't really check, to be honest with you, because I just thought everything would be a breeze.
Thought or prayed?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, now it's all finished. It wasn't that bad. I think it's just lack of education from the government to the hotels. They need to be more savvy about what
Is that the one thing you think should change? Is like say, right, we need to have a streamlined process so that everybody knows where they sit on the ladder. Right, this is the situation. If that's A or B, you go down these routes and follow it, because like they say, the confusion was what caused all the stress. Yeah,
and I tried to ring the Thai embassy in London. No go.
No joy?
2 hours. I was 1 hour the first day I tried. Thought I'd give it a second go. Another hour on the phone, solid. I gave up.
Was that waiting in the queue?
Yeah.
Well, now you know how the people feel when you were doing it.
Yeah, but at least we got through the queue.
Incidentally, going back to that, what was interesting was, you know, we talk a lot, we're good friends. One of the things that I was it's quite shocked really. At one stage you were like 196 in the queuing system. And yet when you made the decision to come out here, that reduced significantly, didn't it?
Yeah, it was only because of the Christmas period everybody went mad and went out, and some people were naughty. They knew they were positive but still went out. Right. So they were spreading it a little bit. But that wasn't the worst. The worst was that 2 months prior me starting the job there was something like 3,500 calls a day. Wow. And with 20 people on the line trying to handle it.
Yeah, that's horrendous.
Yeah, it was. But but now there's hardly any phone call. Well, when I left, there was hardly any phone calls at all. You know, we were sitting there buying stuff off the internet. Shouldn't say that really.
Buying your Lilo and your sun cream and all the rest of it.
Yeah,
Ready to get out
glasses.
of it.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously Jersey's now in a much better situation COVID-wise than what we are here.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you see the process of this place going? Where do you see us going now in terms of like how we're going to get out through this? Because there's a lot of developments going on. We've obviously, right now at the time of making this video, we're talking about the US Navy coming over, 2,000 of those, and now spookily they're thinking about opening up Walking Street as if by magic. And on the back of that, because they're opening up Walking Street, they're now going to say to all the business owners, well, we'll look at legally opening all the nightclubs and the bars. I mean, how do you see the future there?
They've got to do it. They've got to do it for the sake of Pattaya, for starters, and Thailand. But what they're not doing is letting it run, letting the virus, flu, whatever you want to call it, run, which is what we did in Jersey. Just before Christmas, they opened everything.
Okay.
Opened it, well, a month before Christmas, they opened everything. And it got bad, but all of a sudden, it sort of, everybody was getting it. And now, because of everybody was all getting their vaccines and everything, and it was subsiding. So it needs to run its course. And this new one, the Omicron, is only a short-term thing, 3 or 4 days, that's all it is. It doesn't really, some people are getting it quite bad, but other people were just getting a cold, basically, and that's all it is.
So you've been here now a while, you've had a wander around, you've seen all the changes, dramatic changes, certainly from the last time you've been out here. With what you've seen, and you remember it back in the good days as well as what it is right now, where do you see the future of Pattaya? What do you think is going to be the outcome in terms of the nightlife? That, you know, there's all that talk about what's going to happen. Where do you see it as someone that's just come back?
It's going to take a while to get back to what it was, probably 3 years plus.
Okay.
But I think the type of person that's going to come here is going to have more to spend, and it's going to be a quality holiday person, and when they come here, because the place has certainly changed in 18 months, and there's been some bars we used to go to, but they've all changed now, and they're all nice. You know, they've been revamped, and that's what people, I think, are going to go to, especially down Soy Pothole. I mean, 3 years ago, no one wanted a bar there.
I've been telling him all the time we sort of say, mate, you wait to see Soy Chapter and Soy Pothole.
No one wanted a bar there. Yeah. Everybody laughed about the place, but now they're scrambling to get places there, you know. Yeah. And the quality of the workmanship on the bars is great. There's some great bars there.
Yeah.
As we found out.
I'll tell you what I like about, like, especially like you're talking about side touring, new places like Inferno, the dive bar, you know, all these places are coming out now. And like you said, they do look smart. You know, there's not a huge amount of girls here right now, but that's to be expected because there's not a lot of customers here. So it's kind of like a chicken and egg scenario. But I think, like you said, it has developed. I've got to, you know, we're near the end now. I've got to ask the other questions because everyone asks it. Walking Street. Where'd you see it?
I haven't been down there yet. To be honest, no, I've not been down there yet. No, I haven't been down there yet. Everything's good for a change, isn't it, really? I think
the change is definitely imminent. It's going to happen. Yeah, and I think we've got to embrace it because we're not going to stop it. I do see a lot of the nightlife entertainment zones that are in Walking Street currently. I do see them moving over to this kind of area, over into the LK.
For sure. But, you know, no one really knows. No one really, it's all guesswork what they think the government's going to do. No, there's nothing concrete as far as I can see and read. No. There's nothing, you know, saying we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Nothing there. So it's all guesswork. It's all people, keyboard warriors, as we call them, who haven't been here. I know. Listen, I've been reading comments and I thought, what's going on? You've not been here for 20 years. What
You're reading them, I'm bloody answering them. What's that all about? All right, brilliant. Well, listen, it's been great talking to you. I guess my last question for you is, what's on your agenda tonight? Now you're here, you're in amongst it all, you've seen there's more life than what people are saying. I mean, what's on the cards?
Oh, I'm going to get my slippers on tonight, mate, and relax.
He's got jet lag.
I've got jet lag. I really have. Yesterday was killing me.
You need to man up.
12 o'clock yesterday, flat out in bed, gone.
Come on, you need to man up.
No, jet lag, mate. I don't normally get jet lag, but this one's got me.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I've been awake since 2 o'clock this morning as well.
Yeah, be asleep after this. I've got you better.
No, I'm going to try and stay awake today because I've got to have a whole day awake to combat it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a nightmare. Like yesterday, just couldn't get out of bed.
Oh.
Well, I got out of bed, then went back in alone.
Brilliant. Oh.
Nobody loved me.
Well, that'll change, I'm sure, in the near future. All right, well, listen, it's been great. Thanks so much for your time.
Mate, lovely.
Thank you very
lovely.
much. Guys, there you go. So that's the experience that Alfie's had. Obviously, like we said, he's gone through sort of like Jersey to Heathrow to Doha, here to Bangkok. Can I fly? I've got a fit to fly certificate. They don't know what's going on here in the hotel when he gets here. I'm going to speak to my embassy. All these kind of things have happened, but nevertheless, you've got here. You're enjoying your time, and that's what matters.
Just calm down when you get here. If it's going wrong, just don't do what I do. Start shouting.
He was on the phone. I'm going to speak. You were showing them the YouTube. I'm going to get onto to my.
It's exercising my rights.
Oh, well, there you go. Well, you can exercise your rights all you wish now, because you're here. All right, guys. So that's it. I hope you've enjoyed today's interview. I have. I think it's been quite informative, and it's given you some idea what you can possibly expect to happen if you do come over here. And like Alfie said, we're not going to try and mollycoddle you into coming out. If you're only coming out for a short time, guys, just think really long and hard about making that choice, because if you have fell into the whole you've got to do the quarantine, it's going to take a lot of time out of your holiday, and it's also going to cost you a lot of money potentially.
Yeah, for sure.
So, but if you are coming out for a long time, well, there you go. He's been out, he's been walking around, and it's not as quiet as people are saying. But hey ho, we'll leave that one there. All right, that's it, guys. So please, if you haven't already, check out our Discord group. There's a link in the description below. Have a look on there. There's lots of things on there, including a COVID chat room, which we get our man here, Al, on there, because he knows his stuff. And he'll have a look in there and answer for you. So have a look in our Discord group. Likewise, if you'd like to support the channel, there is a link in the description below, and membership starts from as little as 89 pence a month. So if you are interested in supporting what we do here, that'd be fantastic. And that's it from me, guys. Please remember, hit the subscribe button and also the bell icon if you'd like to be notified when I bring out a new video. All right, that's it from us, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and please, as always, wherever you are in the world, stay safe.